What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Socratic Cinema podcast. My name is James Delicio,
I'm Kasey Clark.
And I'm Charlie Heatherly.
and today we've decided to tackle possibly the most auspicious, the most eloquent, the most elegant movie we've done on the podcast yet. This is going to be a doozy, and I know that you guys have all been waiting for it. But enough building it up. You read the title. Today we are talking about The Kissing Booth 2.
Woo.
Oh boy.
Excited.
Now you may be asking yourself, dear listener, why would you ever choose to cover The Kissing Booth 2? And to that I say, why not? We have no shame left. We have this, it's season 3, it's 2020. We're just kind of matching the mood. So deal with it.
Yeah, I
Anyways,
mean,
oh,
when
sorry.
you live in a year of pain, why not inflict just a little bit more? You know,
Right,
that's my motto, man.
yeah, we've been through so much already. We can make it through The Kissing Booth 2. And we did. With that being said, Charlie, what did you think about The Kissing Booth 2?
You know, James Delicio, while I was watching this movie, a lot of things were running through my head. I was thinking about what direction I would take my response in the podcast, actually. I was like, maybe I should say it's the greatest movie ever and just meme for an hour about it. Maybe I should just go off on an angry rant. Maybe I should say that all the characters, if they all took an IQ test, together it would be less than 50, and they would legally be dumber than a box of rocks. But I've decided to just be calm and reach peace. I think The Kissing Booth 2 is a god awful film in some places, and it's okay in others. It made me want to question my sanity about half an hour through. I really seriously was about to leave it with 1 hour left and just pretend like I watched the last hour because I really did not want to finish it. But after finishing it, I felt a sense of shallow completeness that you can only do after watching a bad movie for 2 hours and just sticking it through. So, it's 2020. If you're a glutton for pain, I think I would recommend this movie to you.
Very well said. Kasey, what did you think?
So I had watched the first one, again, not of my own volition. I was at a sleepover, and
Ah,
I did not like the first one. I thought that most of the characters were problematic, and then when I saw that there was a second one coming out, I was like, "Oh my god, like we have to review this for the podcast," because I knew deep down in my soul that it was going to be awful. I did not know that it was going to be 2.5 hours. And that that was many minutes of my life that I will never get back. But I feel like it's the run of the mill love triangle teen story. Yeah, it's just I didn't like it. It's not a good movie. I would not watch it again. But I'm glad that I watched it at least once.
I think that's a very mature approach to have. At least we watched it once. I think my biggest question after watching this movie is why is it so long? It had no business being over 2 hours at all. Uh, there are so many great movies out there that are under 2 hours. It's not a requirement to make your movie super long, especially if it's The Kissing Booth 2. But um, obviously, I think it goes without saying, it's not a good movie. Did not have a very good time with it. But I kind of went on a journey. I had to learn about 40 minutes in. I decided, this is not a good movie. I'm gonna stop holding it to the same standard that I normally would, and I kind of just let go. And from that point on, it became a lot more bearable. Like Charlie said, it's actually not bad in some regards. I was able to squeeze out a little bit of kind of thematic content from it. I think all the characters are horrible and bad people except for one, and I'll talk about that later. there's only one character who I really sympathize with, or I guess kind of one arc that I liked.
Ollie.
Marco.
No.
No, not
No,
Marco.
Marco is so stupid, dude.
Okay,
Like,
wait. Hold on.
Oh my god.
I will. I kind of want to. I don't know. I kind of like Marco a little bit. Anyways,
you're ridiculous.
I liked him better than. I
Noah.
Well,
What?
Noah sucks too. Like, but Marco is just like a bully, and then he's like, "Wow, this girl is good at dancing. Maybe I'm falling in love." And then he falls in love, and then like all of his previous character traits are just gone.
but
Like him bullying the girl completely leaves. That mean tendency never comes up again. He just becomes the fun, free loving. Like it doesn't make any sense. It's
I
ridiculous.
but I also
Really?
think that like given this, okay, we're gonna have to dive into this later. We can't jump in like this. If you haven't seen the kissing booth, let's give you a little rundown, a little like 30-second kissing booth refresher so you can know what's going on. I don't really know what happened in the first movie. My only exposure
Oh,
to it is pretty much its commentary on it that was like 10 minutes long. So, Casey, can you tell us what happened in the first one?
yeah. Okay, so the kissing booth, the first one starts off, you meet Elle and Lee, they're best friends, and they have a set of rules that they have to follow throughout their friendship. As we see in this movie, the main one that they're dealing with is you always apply to the same school as your bestie. In the first movie, the rule that causes the problem is that you cannot date your bestie's siblings. So Elle has this humongous crush on Noah, and Noah is also crushing back on her. And so there's this whole like drama about, them having a relationship and then keeping it a secret for Lee, which eventually comes out at the kissing booth, which like in this movie, there's a whole callback about trying to get a hot guy to do the headliner as the kisser, and that's essentially shenanigans ensues, and they eventually get together, Elle and Noah, and then we leave off at the beginning of the Kissing Booth 2 where Noah leaves to go to college.
And like as you were saying, Kissing Booth 2 kind of picks up in the same spot. It's Elle is dealing with her long distance relationship with Noah. He's off at Harvard. Somehow this guy's at Harvard. And they're having some problems in their long distance relationship, trust issues all around. Lee has his own relationship with more trust issues because Ellie's driving a wedge between Lee and his girlfriend. And there's Marco, who's also trying to get at Elle, and it's just basically it's more than a love triangle. It's like a love octagon at this point. Um, and
Mhm.
at the end of the kissing booth too, the couples pretty much kind of stay the same. Like we end up in pretty much the same places we left off. Elle and Noah are back together, and so are Lee and his girlfriend Rachel. And yeah, so you watch 2 hours and like 15 minutes of people having all these problems with their relationship, and it just kind of ends exactly where it started, which is super cool, I guess. um Anyways, I think we should dive right in with some of the themes of the movie, because I one of them, I think there are two major themes in this movie. I think there's the theme about trust, and there's the theme about the future and college. And those I think are our two driving forces for the movie. Would you agree with me there?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, if there's somehow an intelligible argument here, I will be
I,
incredibly impressed because I sort of just I glazed over after the best friend got mad at her for trying to apply to another college besides just the one at UC
yeah,
Berkeley.
that's a lot of the like conflicts in these movies are really dumb to me. I still don't get why uh Elle dating Lee's brother Noah in the first place is such a like yeah, it's a little weird, but it's not like friendship ending weird, I don't think, right? Am I
Well, okay,
They
I
touched
want
on
you
it in the first
in the
movie.
first one. Well,
Mhm.
James, I want you to consider this. Longtime Socratic Cinema viewers should know Rachel, who is James's sister.
oh
What if I
gosh.
started dating your sister, James? Wouldn't that be a little weird?
It would,
Like,
yeah, it would be
wouldn't you want to create a rule inside of our friendship labeled, oh, I don't know, rule number 16 or something random like that, that would prohibit that from happening?
it would be, as you said, a little weird, but not like
I don't know, man. I don't know.
not end of the world weird. I don't. Maybe
Little
I.
weird if you gotta hang out with your best friend and then and then your friend or like it's your sister's like backing on your friend. It's just weird. It's just weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like everything in this movie is just so dramatic for like no reason. I don't know. I guess it's kind of the point of a drama movie like this, but everything is done so over the top. The acting, the writing, it's just hard to watch. Like the way these characters behave is not how normal humans behave. You know, Elle and Lee are the most over the top high school students that I've ever seen. I don't think it's just so artificial that it makes it hard to feel for them, at least at the beginning of the movie. It was for me, I know that. I was watching this and I was like, this is like bottom tier acting. It was just so
Well,
not convincing.
that's the weird thing is the girl that plays Elle, is that her name?
Joey
Mhm.
King, yeah.
Yeah, Joe. She's good at the crying. She's very good at the crying. And there were like some scenes where I was like, wow, she's actually sad. But then she does the goofy thing so artificially that it just feels like the movie was like written and directed by a middle schooler.
Yeah, and well, actually, the book that this movie is based off of was written by a 15-year-old.
No.
Wait,
Yeah,
is this a Wattpad story?
something like that. It was like an online, like, ebook.
Oh my god, that's
Oh
incredible.
god.
But
That's so good.
but good for her for getting a book like, a movie made of your book at 15. I don't care how bad it is, you made it. If Netflix produced
I don't
your
know. I don't know.
dude, think about the bank that this 15-year-old girl is making. I wait,
Yeah.
True.
yeah, like, that's crazy.
She probably gets bullied out of her mind at school though for making the kissing booths 1 and 2.
I wouldn't care.
No.
I'd be like, "Screw you, man. I've made 2 Netflix original movies."
Right.
Uh, yeah, but as I was saying, every single character in this movie is so bad. Oh, I'm also really disappointed because I'll never see Joey King as anything other than, Ramona from the Ramona and Beezus movie. So that's just kinda burned into my head.
Oh.
I'm really sad seeing her, like it's like watching Bella Thorne go from Shake It Up to whatever she's doing now, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Did you Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you know that she was in, Dark Knight Rises too?
She was?
Yeah, yeah, she was the kid that was doing, like, the climbing in the jail and stuff. Like, she
Oh,
was young Talia al Ghul.
I've never seen, The Dark Knight Rises, so
Wow.
I've seen,
Oh my god.
Batman Begins and Dark Knight, but just not Dark Knight Rises.
Wow, okay.
Anyways, yeah, every character in this movie is terrible. Elle is terrible. Lee is not as terrible. Noah's just the worst, man. Noah
Yeah,
has
no,
Yeah,
it's
0 sense of boundaries, and Chloe's the worst too. Like,
true.
there's this whole revelation at the end of the so it seems like Noah and his college, like, girl space friend Chloe are, like, are together and having a little affair, and Ellie's really upset, and there's this whole reveal at the end where it's like, "No, no, no, they weren't they were actually just friends the whole time." But also, like, Noah really needed to make it clear to Chloe, like, "Stop."
Yeah.
yeah.
I do not blame Ellie for being suspicious in the slightest, man. They're, like, going out together, she's kissing him on the cheek and doing these real, like, sensual hugs. It was just Noah the biggest problem in this movie is none of the characters actually, like, communicate with each other.
Yes. Yes.
So
That.
Mhm.
many problems could have been avoided. The only character who I think is, like, not the worst is Rachel, Lee's girlfriend, Rachel. I don't blame her for anything at all. I think
True.
she's the ultimate victim of this movie. Like, I would feel weird if I was dating a girl and then her guy friend who she's been besties with forever and they go everywhere together was constantly hanging out with us. I'd feel weird. I think Rachel is
Mhm.
entirely justified in feeling upset by Ellie's presence in the relationship. communication would have made things a lot easier. But you know what, Rachel's the only character I really feel for, man. Just such a victim to Lee and Ellie's absolute BS.
Yeah. Well, like it just doesn't make any sense to me that Lee couldn't just understand that you can hang out with two people that you enjoy being around at separate points in time.
Right?
Like, why is that such a is object permanence and time a really hard concept for him to grasp as a high school senior? But yeah, like I actually sort of like the dynamic between between them, between Elle and Lee or whatever their names are. I
Yeah, they
thought I mean they were like dorky best friends
yeah, they had some good chemistry.
yeah, and I think if you actually watched was it before or after the credits? It was at one point, but at the very end of the movie, they have, like, the bloopers reel. It's
Uh,
obvious that the cast has a lot of fun making it, and that
that's good.
they
Yeah.
specifically love making it together, and it seems like they have really good chemistry off screen as well.
That and
So
yeah, that plays through very clearly. The characters all look like they're having fun, which
yeah,
is the least you can ask for in a movie like The Kissing Booth 2.
and, like, I feel that in some of the relationships within the movie, I feel like things made sense when they did, and I feel like other things were completely nonsensical. Like, everything Lee did was entirely nonsensical, but
Right.
I felt like, what was the name of the original hot boyfriend
Noah?
from
Noah.
Noah. I felt like Noah was sorta just dumb and clueless rather than, like, actively making bad mistakes and wrong decisions.
See, I feel the opposite. I
I
think L
disagree as well.
Yeah, I think Lee I felt for Lee way more than Noah. Like, I think Lee was just kind of generally clueless about, like, how his actions are affecting Rachel, whereas Noah, like, dude, your girlfriend has told you that she is uncomfortable with your relationship with this other female, and yet you are continuing to go out with her one-on-one and lie about it? Like,
The lying did suck. The lying was super stupid.
there's
And
no excuse. I don't get it.
I hated him when it was thought that he was a cheater, and I was like, "Oh, this movie's so basic." But then when they're like, "Oh, whoopsie doodle, she just dropped her earring there, just happened to crash there at one night, and he didn't know about it." And for whatever reason, Noah said nothing. Like Noah didn't even assume that that could have been a possibility. He didn't ever question into he didn't question his girlfriend saying, "Oh, maybe I should talk to you and understand exactly how you're feeling about this girl," and say that thing that he said at the end of the movie where he's like, "I need my best friend when I'm all alone here. I can't just be alone
Mhm.
in Harvard." So I don't know. I think he was definitely bad with the communication. Again, that's a central theme of conflict in this movie. But I think he was just dumb in a lot of ways. And I think he genuinely loved Elle for like the entire movie, but he just didn't know how to properly express that in a long distance way. And obviously mistakes are made, but they're all better now riding on their motorcycle into the
Wait,
California sunset.
I just kind of realized, um, yes, Noah as a person is a very dumb, but I think it's a very smart movie choice to have Noah continually hurt sorry. It feels like it should be Ellie. Um,
Because you
by
played
having
Last of Us too.
yeah, and yeah, anyways, by having him continue to hurt Elle with this super close bestie relationship he has with Chloe, it's like such a clear parallel to, how Lee and Elle's friendship is hurting Rachel. I think that's actually kinda smart now that I'm, like, thinking about
Hmm.
it. Very cool. There's a lot of, like, parallelism kinda going on, and it does so much to really reveal the tension and also really reveal how stupid everyone in this movie is. It's like Elle seeing how much it hurts her to watch her significant other have a really close relationship with someone else should absolutely realize what Lee or what Rachel is feeling. It's the same thing. I think it's a really smart filmmaking choice actually now that I'm thinking about it. So, props to Kissing Booth too, I guess.
Really smart filmmaking choice and Kissing Booth 2 in the same sentence. Have we broken the time stream?
This
Are we
is
gonna
like
go to an alternate dimension? This is crazy.
this is like the good ending of Socratic Cinema, where Aladdin was like the of watching a bad movie. Aladdin was the bad ending. This is the good ending, where we actually find something.
I don't know. I still feel like this movie deserves to be railed on a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I am a rom-com legend, all right? I have watched so many rom-com movies in my time. I know all of the good ones, I know all the bad ones, and this is definitely pretty god awful.
It's a
Like,
a fun to watch with friends movie though.
fun to watch with friends movie for sure, and just, like, point and laugh at,
Mhm.
but it's fun to bully the movie, but at the end of the day, you shouldn't spend your time doing it because it's just it's really 2 hours of nothingness, and you
Mhm.
could get so much more out of your time for doing something else. And I like the fact that the person that wrote this is a 15-year-old or was a 15-year-old makes everything make so much more sense.
Mind you, wrote the book, not the
Still,
screenplay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
still,
So we're allowed to rail. I don't wanna, like, bully any 15-year-old creator.
well, she's 24 now, so it's fine that we can
Right, but I mean, because I mean, like,
so we can bully her now.
we were once 15-year-old content creators. I don't actually know if that's true. I forgot how old we were when this started. But anyways, yeah, we can rail on the screenplay as much as much as we want. Um, but Casey, what did you think? Because you are the only one here who's actually seen the first one. So how does this stack up?
This was de definitely better than the first one, I
Oh.
would say.
Whoa, what?
Way more complex. Well, I personally think that it was more simply because they had a lot more going on, that it was more interesting than the first one, because the first one had, like, an A plot and then a B plot, and then, like, maybe a C plot with Rachel, like, but Rachel didn't come in until way later in the movie, Kissing Booth. Um, but this this one had, like, A through G plots, like, it
It had
was
so much
filling
going
Yeah.
on.
so much going on. Like, I would say, like, A being I even outlined, like, the problems in my notes. Like, the number 1 would be Rachel versus Lee and Elle's friendship, and then Elle and Noah long distance, and then the kissing booth. And then you have so those are, like, the 3 major plot points. And then you have, college, and then you have,
The dance
uh and
competition.
dance
Mhm.
competition, and Marco, and then, like, it was so much happening, and so I guess it was good that it had, like, stuff that you needed to pay attention to. Would I prefer if it wasn't A through G plots? Of course, like, I don't want to have to pay attention to 6 different, like, plot lines, um,
Mhm.
but, yeah, I feel like Molly Ringwald, the mom, carried the movie for me.
Oh, wait, that was
Yeah,
Molly Ringwald? Really?
yeah, it
Oh,
was
how
Molly
the mighty have
Ringwald.
fallen. Jesus.
But she carried the movie for me. When I was looking up the movie and just, like, the atmosphere around the movie, it's kinda like they were definitely going for Twilight, like, Team
Yeah.
Marco, Team, Noah, which is kinda similar to
Yeah.
even, to All the Boys, Team John,
Jacob
the
and Edward.
no,
Wait,
in,
she's talking about "To All the Boys I
For
Loved
To All the
Before."
Boys I Love. And I feel like I definitely agree with the point that Marco and the other guy that I can't remember the name of was really, really snubbed and probably should have ended up with Elle, but it makes
Mhm.
sense that they didn't, like, have her end up with him, which is the same which you know what? I was actually really mad that they had her get accepted into both colleges, because I felt like it would have been way better and way more realistic if she had been waitlisted for both colleges. Does
Yeah.
anyone
Y
Yeah, because
yeah, even the waitlisting thing kinda bothered me too. I feel like they set up this whole conflict about her having to pick between UC Berkeley and Harvard, and then their solution was just kinda like, "Oh, you actually don't have to pick." I feel like they kind of just
yeah.
threw that problem under the rug when it
Well,
stopped being
no,
convenient.
she has to pick now. That's what the Kissing Booth 3 is gonna be about, which is
I
coming out in
swear,
2021.
why would they build up that so much only just to throw like,
'Cause
I
it's
just
bad storytelling, because they tried to jam 3 different movies into 1, and they're trying to string this as along for as long as they can, because they know it's gonna keep making money. Dumb
Mhm.
idiots like us are gonna keep watching this movie because it's the only thing on, and it's the only Netflix rom-com that's, like, worth your, like, 2 cents. This movie and the movie before it are just mindless. They're absolutely mindless compared to other great rom-coms that have come before. But it's
Charlie
gonna
Charlie
keep
went
on
Charlie
coming.
off.
snapped.
He went
Because it's so
off.
dumb, and the fact that they're making a 3rd movie off of a college decision, which they could have just solved in this movie and had that be the happily ever after, like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, she
And
could
it's coming out next year! There's 1
next
year!
holy jeez. Yeah, I really don't get why she couldn't have just been like Lee understood when she dated his brother. Why don't they just do the same thing last time? Just like, I'm going to Harvard, and Lee just kind of has to be like, okay. Lee is also kind of a victim here, man. Ellie is the worst. Sorry, Elle is the worst.
All of
Sh
them are idiots.
All
All
of
of them
them are the
deserve to
worst.
be
The
sent to prison, dude.
Thanksgiving the Thanksgiving scene, now
Oh,
that
I wanted to talk about that, man. That is the art of tension and release at its finest.
yeah.
Because we have
no.
all this absolute skullduggery, if you will, building up for the entire movie. And we get to the Thanksgiving scene, and the floodgates open, and everything that you've been complaining about the entire movie, the characters start complaining about it too. And it's just there's something chaotically beautiful about watching these bad actors in a bad movie just start ripping on each other. And it's
Yeah.
just cathartic. I loved it.
Okay, maybe I could express my opinions in a more cordial way. I'm gonna compare them to Alfred Hitchcock, alright? And
Okay.
and this is for the Thanksgiving scene specifically. So I've mentioned this before on the show. Alfred Hitchcock has an incredible theory on the idea of suspense, which can be explained by this one example he gave where you're at a dinner table and you watch the movie for 10 minutes and a bomb explodes. That's not very suspenseful.
Right.
What you should have is a bomb underneath the table and you show the audience that there's the bomb there. So for the entire 10 minutes, you're like, oh God, is it going to go off now? Is it going to go off now? So
Mhm.
you're in full suspense. Another similar example is that of a rubber band where you're gradually pulling it more and more and more taut until you release it and then the snap breaks everything.
Mhm.
Now, where Alfred Hitchcock's films were a satisfying snap at the end of a, long pullback, that scene felt like it was like some like toddler just like blah blah blah, like tried to snap it at random intervals. Each character was like, "What? You didn't tell me about that.
Yeah.
No, you revealed your secret. What?" Like it's a cartoon of idiocy.
It
All of
was
them are just saying, "Oh, you didn't tell me that. Oh, you didn't tell me that." And they're all being passive aggressive towards one another, like that's the thing to do. Like it's a
I
Thanksgiving dinner. Have some like cordiality.
I
Jesus.
I think if this scene was written well, it could have been amazing. It could have been so cool. But what they did instead is they put all of the 18 problems they've been building for the entire movie, and they jammed all of that coming forward in one scene, and it's just so busy. Like I said, cathartic nonetheless, but very busy and just not as satisfying, I guess, as you want it to be. But I feel like it's so frustrating. I feel like there's so many individual kind of good ideas in this movie that could have been like something good if it was just done right, man.
I feel like this movie took more time for me than Irishman.
I think it did.
True.
I think
And
that's
Years
true.
of
that's
my life.
when I watch movies, I like to feel emotion and I like to feel things when I watch them. And I felt that a couple times in the Kissing Booth too. But I've never felt chills while watching a movie, and that's what The Kissing Booth 2 gave to me. But it wasn't chills like there's electricity in my veins because I'm so excited and floored by the performances. It was more like spiders were crawling underneath my skin, and I felt uncomfortable just like
Yeah.
sitting there experiencing the movie. And that's not like a joke or like something I'm trying to string out. Like legitimately, I did have that feeling, literal chills for the last hour of the movie. Like
It's like this movie's
I don't know.
Chinese water torture. Like
Yeah,
True.
every scene is another drop, and it just gets worse and worse. And at some point, you just have you just snap and you stop being able
yeah.
to comprehend it, and you just kind of it not enjoy it, but just accept
Except
it.
yeah.
Yes, it's acceptance. But can we talk about Marco? Because I feel like there's more missed potential there. Honestly, I kind of like Marco's arc. I'm kind of happy with how that turned out. I think
Mhm.
he learned something. He learned, to not be a douche. Um, and I think it was a good kind of reflection of Noah and Chloe kind of giving Elle's like stressed about Noah and Chloe. Meanwhile, she's facing her own temptation with Marco. She even kissed him. That was like
Yeah, that's wild.
seriously okay. Give Ellie more flack there. Like, gosh, and props to Noah for taking her back after that. I don't know, man. I could go on about so many problems, but I kind of liked Marco's arc. I think he had a little bit of a Spider-Man 1 action going on, if you will. You know,
Makes it worse.
it makes it so
No,
much better.
I like
Uh,
Spider-Man 1. My problem with Marco, I have a very superficial problem with Marco,
mhm.
is that do you guys remember the scene where he's in the gym and he's, like, all buff and sweaty and, like
That definitely wasn't him, was it?
No, it
Like,
No, it
was
was.
him. It was totally
was.
him, but you're trying to make me, like, ogle over this guy that, like, no offense, the guy's very handsome. He's not, like, insanely jacked like other
he's lean though.
leads. Yeah, his pecs were, like, flat. I was like, "Why are
Rude.
you" well,
Just say he's not your type and move on.
I
well,
know, man. You don't gotta like
it's like
emasculate him.
it's like you had me go on there and start doing pull-ups and then, like, spritz some baby oil on my chest and then was like, "Guys, look at how hot this man is. Oh my gosh." Like, I he's much better looking than me, but it just he didn't feel like he was, like, Henry Cavill
Uh-oh,
type hot.
guys. Charlie's inadequacy complex is showing.
I know. I I just feel like, they could have upped it in post, give him some massive pecs.
Done
'Cause
like
you
the
see it in the shirt. It looks way better when he's wearing shirts. I don't know.
done like a CGI buff super soldiers kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
shit. Well, if you could do the CGI mustache for Henry Cavill in Superman, then you could totally
That
do
didn't
CGI
look
pecs for whatever
good.
this guy's name is.
okay. The only thing though is he actually looks more like a high schooler than Noah did. Noah's
I
freaking
agree.
the
That's true.
Hulk.
No, Noah's face looks like a weird, like, sad horse. I don't understand.
I hate his hair too, man. From what
His
I've
hair
seen of his hair,
sucks.
Rip Jacob Elordi.
it's so Justin Bieber. Like early,
And
back
they
when
made a
Justin
joke
Bieber
about
hair
that.
was a thing.
Yeah,
I can't
in the
imagine.
comedy club, they're like, "That's Justin Bieber before he got into drag racing," or whatever the bad comic
Oh,
said.
trucking or whatever. They
Trucking.
said
Trucking.
trucking.
Is Justin Bieber a trucker?
No,
No,
that was
they
a lesbian joke. I'm
it
pretty sure.
was?
I'm pretty
Really?
sure it was a lesbian joke. 'Cause
That's
Wow,
like
that's
super
that's a
subliminal.
stretch, dude.
yeah.
I know.
I feel like that is a reach, but I was like in my head, I was like, bro, is that a lesbian joke?
I would have to comprehend that I think that Justin Bieber is a lesbian, and then make the stretch that you could call lesbians truckers. Like, that's
Yeah,
wow.
it's like
Is that
oh
layered
well,
or
that guy, he wears purple. You know what that? It's like what? What does that mean? What are you
It's like,
talking
what
about?
does that mean?
I
Uh,
I I will admit I did love Chloe. Is that the British girl's name?
Yeah,
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 it's
of
the only
course you
legal name
did.
that you can call, suave black British women in movies. I feel
yeah,
like I've
go
seen lots
her.
of Chloes, but she is really cool.
She
Like,
is.
Eight.
I know she really came out like on top of that whole movie. I think she was just like I'm just gonna live my life. I don't want to
mhm.
get part of no drama. Good for Chloe. Yeah, no, not many about the side. Aside from the fact that she definitely should have realized that she was overstepping some boundaries, and I think she did acknowledge that at one point. She was like, "I sometimes whatever, take what I want or something like that," which is like, okay,
Mhm.
It's
dude,
not
this guy's in a real
acknowledgement.
I know this
Yeah.
guy's in a relationship. Like we hold even hold the super cool characters like Chloe. We gotta hold them accountable too. But
I'm fine not
Right.
holding her accountable. Are you kidding me? She
okay, dude.
I think that's just her personality. I think she's just sorta like that, and the
Being a
only
homewrecker is
time
not a personality.
it's a personality trait, sure.
It's a
And
bad one.
Oh my
yeah, it's
god.
fine. But I feel like the only time where I was like, "Chloe, that's really dumb of you to do." Well, 2 times. Number 1, don't sleep in your friend's bed when you know that your friend has a girlfriend. Just,
Your male friends, but like
your male friend's bed. Number
And then
2,
not tell him about it.
yeah.
she's like one of the girls that always like makes a huge point about the fact that she hangs out with the boys.
Yeah,
That's the
no,
vibe I get.
totally.
Bruh
She
girls.
Bruh, girl.
she's totally not a bruh girl. She, like the fact that she hangs out with that group of people is astonishing to me. Like, those are the most bonehead, knucklehead, like, lawyer types at Harvard, and she comes in, and all of them, like, immediately their jaws drop at her.
Yeah, very business major kind
Yeah,
of guys.
and she's fine with it. Like, she's an idiot for hanging out with them. But number 2, I thought that her initial introduction to Elle was a little weird where, uh, she's like, "Oh, and I can get him to do whatever I want. You know, your
Yeah,
boyfriend,
Oh
like
god.
I
weird.
dominate him." Like, little
Yeah.
Not
strange. I guess that's
Mhm.
how the British introduce themselves, different cultures, you know?
Yeah, speaking of British, why was, like, the school board president or whatever, the girl who did the PR or the announcements, why was she British? Is
Diversity.
there
It's diverse.
Hey,
It's a boarding
is
school. I don't know.
does that count? I don't is British people in an
We
American
need more
movie
British
diversity?
representation in film. I've said it for a long time. I don't know why. I think it's just because
That's what BLM stands for.
British lives matter. No, 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 no,
Oh
no.
my god.
No
James,
one
backpedaling.
I said it twice. There's no backpedal.
Oh my
He's standing
god.
by British lives matter. No, it's
Okay, in
Oh.
all
no.
seriousness, screw British people. I'm just gonna say it.
Those
Damn.
twits,
Rip Elliot,
Rip
right? Is it
Elliot, dude.
Elliot?
I hope you knew
those
this.
quiche eating bastards. They don't deserve the
Oh
time of
my
No.
day.
and
Who lost the war? They lost the war.
They
Who lost
lost
the
the war.
war?
You
They lost
bastard.
the war.
You bastard.
How's
Uh,
that tea? How's that tea tasting a little salty over there, Elliot? How's the tea?
Ooh. He's over
Tastes like
here
the
now and he
Boston
wants to be
Harbor.
on an episode. I can't wait till we do a Socratic Smackdown where it's just him and I yelling at each other
Yes,
about which
Socratic
country's better.
Smackdown topic number 2.
Yeah.
Do British people deserve rights?
oh my god.
Well, the problem is like whenever you yell at British people, they could yell right back. Like I could be imperialist and he'll be like, "Yeah, you did that too, man." Like remember the Philippines? And I'll be like, about
True.
that."
It's fine. I just wanted to I feel like we need to hit the dance competition for my sake.
Oh, sure, sure.
Okay.
That I would just like to say how it is ultimate BS. Well, I have 2 notes.
Alright.
That is ultimate BS that he did that perfect throw without any practicing at all. That was just, like, so irksome to me. And then he just does a backflip and, like, flips her into the air like she was, like, a cheerleader. I'm like, "Excuse me?" Like, it was just
Uh,
not for me. And then
No.
also, the costuming, horrible.
yeah.
Everyone else ate them up. Are you when they did I feel like the main thing that got to me this is such, like, a trivial thing, but, like, how are they wearing, like, like, what was it? Like, black and gold Air Max 97s when you have a black and silver, like, color palette? Sorry, that was just
Yeah.
really irritating to me, and I needed to get it off my chest. I was like, "That's so dumb. Are you kidding me?" Like, that's so like, A, those shoes give you no no support. Like, how are you gonna flip someone up? Like, you can't like, yeah. Okay. Anyways,
Alright.
that's all.
Also, while we're at the dance competition, let's talk about how dumb the dancing game is. DDM. Like the game. Well, what the hell is the competition? The game is clearly said to be solely based on accuracy. That is the way that they judge participants to other participants. So why is it that you have to make a dancing routine
No,
around a song? Do you make your own song?
no, they said they were like accuracy is a given in these competitions. So we have to wow them with our choreography.
Then why were they shocked when they got 100% accuracy?
I don't know. Maybe
And,
not
and,
that
They
and
many.
how are
hadn't
you judging
before.
accuracy between different songs? Or is it the same song and it's just you get to do extra moves? That has
I
nothing to do with the video game.
I think they're all hard songs maybe is how they judge it.
They're different songs. It does.
Eh,
This competition
but
is dumb on many
I mean,
levels.
look at music competitions or whatever. Everyone plays a different song. They don't all play the same thing.
Yeah, but it's not
True.
the same as a video game, which has a clear scoring system within it. Like,
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
think of Beat Saber. It's like
well,
essentially like if you look at it like it's Beat Saber and doesn't like Beat Saber tells you if you're like missing and like if you hit
this
it and like your accuracy, right? And so they're like it's like if you put choreography to a Beat Saber song.
Yeah, like do cool
this is the
spins and stuff.
difference, though. Beat Saber measures beats, like how many blocks you can hit as well. This game only measures accuracy, which is clearly shown many times. It doesn't care about how many steps are in your song, like how long the song is. The only thing that matters is accuracy. So there's no way to
Ah,
scale it to different
Oh.
difficulties.
but the choreography is what wins the judges over. They said that.
But that's not a part of the game. That's just clearly not how you play the game. No one cares if you're doing a flip to get two of the little buttons. Like, that's just not how
They
games work.
obviously
If
cared.
you had if you were judging between two different people and they both got 100% accuracy, but one of them did a flip, are you telling
You're
me you
you're
would
you're
not give it
playing
to the
just
guy with the
backwards with
flip?
choreography. Like, watch actual DDR. I was about to say DDM. This movie's brainwashed the hell out of me.
What's it called? Dance. What does the M stand for?
Revolution.
No, in the in
Oh,
the in the in
the
the movie.
I think
it's
Machine?
Mania. It's Mania.
Mania? Okay. But actual DDR players are super impressive when they're doing their like crazy footwork on two players and there's only one of them. Like it's wild, right? And you can easily judge between people because you can see the song, how many steps they're doing, and then you can also judge accuracy. There's different ways to measure it. But when like your guy's doing a flip or something in the middle of it, that doesn't go into the game at all. It's not a designed mechanic to be good at flipping. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
guess.
That's
I
my
feel
little
that
rant.
if we wanna see some real dance competition action, we should watch Strictly Ballroom.
I'm
Oh,
down.
yes, dude.
I'm
Australian
down.
cinema at its finest. I
Also,
don't know.
Kasey, how difficult would it be if like let's say James was to throw me up in the air? How difficult would it be for me to get my form as perfect as Elle did, where I was spinning or where she was like spinning around perfectly and then caught by
Ooh.
You just
handsome
tuck your
Marco?
arms in and you spin faster, right?
Well,
But if you've never done that before, that seems horrifying.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That's for sure definitely a cheer camp, like, cheerleading move, which is why I was like, they're trying to pass this off
She's
as
a
a
cheerleader.
one-off thing.
Is
Elle
she a
is
cheerleader?
not a cheerleader.
Yeah, they said when they were going over her college qualifications, they were like, "Great test scores, your grades are great, you've got experience with soccer and cheer."
But her essay sucks.
Wow, I completely missed that. But still, I still okay, so to be honest, Charlie, you would not be a flyer because you're long and lanky. You have to be, like,
Ooh.
short and, like,
She just called me Gumby. Oh my.
I didn't call you Gumby, no. But, like, flyers are more like well, you have to be, like, light, but you also need to be small because
Mhm.
they're throwing you up and then they're catching you in, like, arm's length. And so I guess Elle could be a flyer.
She's 5'4", then sure, but like
She is 5
high
oh,
school
yeah, that makes
high
sense.
school cheer is nowhere near the level of what they did, and then Marco would also have to have, like, insane form in order to do that. Like, I can't
Yeah.
imagine it being easy to toss someone perfectly up into the air.
I
Like,
don't know.
And
"Oh,
he
you wanna
can't
try?"
and his form with throwing her too, like, that would not he would've thrown her, like, into the monitor, like, you have to throw
Yeah.
them, like, up and, like, bend your
And not
knees,
forward,
and then they
yeah.
have and not forward, like, I know it's, like, the cool corkscrew thing, but she would've went through the monitor if that
Mhm.
was
Oof.
I
actually a thing,
I
concussion
also
safe.
loved how the game took just a convenient break while they were doing all the backflipping and
Yeah,
throwing,
it's
and
like you really have to be I guess they just know the choreography well enough.
how
Um,
much money did they spend on that machine, you think, in quarters?
I don't know if this is big brain or not, but I just realized Elle and Lee. Think about those two names, and they're best friends. It's like backwards. Like Lee backwards is L.
Oh my god. Well, L backwards is L.
That's cool. I just realized that. That's actually kind of cool.
The 15-year-old writer is like, "Finally, someone's gotten it."
Dude,
All
she's
these
I
writing
know,
that.
years.
She's like
he's
she's
like,
like typing
"Yes."
that down while she's writing, and she's like, "Oh, this is so good." Yeah,
I would like to
you know.
clarify, that 15-year-old writer, although the movie adaptation did, come out not too great, she was not the director of that movie, probably not even
Yeah,
really the writer, and I'm glad that
blameless.
she expressed her creativity, and I think it's great that she did, and I haven't read the the Wattpad fanfic, so I can't really, say anything about it, I think she did a great job. I just like to jokingly crap on
Right.
her
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
achievements.
All
I think she
jokes
yeah,
at
I
Socratic
think she
Cinema.
did a great job, by the way. I
Yeah.
would just like to clarify for any college admissions people who might be watching this
And
later
like,
on.
Yeah.
yeah. Ooh, we gotta worry about that.
Yeah.
I know this was
Dang.
a relevant movie for us, but we are starting to come up a little bit on the timer.
Mhm.
So, does anyone have any? Have we made our peace with the kissing booth too? Do you think?
Uh, I don't think I could ever be repaid for what I lost while watching that.
And that's fair. Let me just say, it wasn't my idea to watch it.
I'm glad we
No
watched this instead of Prince of Egypt, though. Prince of Egypt, trash, bad
Okay,
movie.
hey guys, you know
Bad.
what? We don't normally do this,
Ew.
but get ready for next time. We are watching DreamWorks The Prince of Egypt. Yeah, woo! I'm so excited because Charlie already spoiled it, so we might as well make it an event.
I'm sorry. Do we do announcements on those now? Or
We should. Anyways, we're watching Prince of Egypt next time. So if you like that movie or if you like us, you should stick around in 2 weeks to catch us covering Prince of Egypt. But that's going to go ahead and bring us to the end of this episode of the Socratic Cinema podcast. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, go ahead and drop a comment if you're on YouTube, a review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, 5-star rating, thumbs up all around, all that good stuff. You know what to do. As always, you can find our other episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Anchor, YouTube, whatever. Give us a follow on Instagram at Socratic underscore. Is there an underscore?
yeah.
Yeah.
I give us a follow on Instagram at Socratic underscore cinema or on Twitter at Cinema Socratic. And we will catch you guys on the next episode. So share it with your friends. And until next time, adios.